terms of your personnel that week is massive for momentum within the squad and massive for the guys that stayed behind, and really fleshes out not some team spirit, but that the kind of role that they're on, and fair play to Cass, because I always felt that Huddersfield were there for the taking, but that Huddersfield would have looked at this as a real opportunity given who was away from Castleford that
It was
week,
young
and they held on
Holmes.
to it.
It was young Holmes who came on for Chase Winner and played most of the game in there actually. And he's not a senior figure, and his kicking game isn't all there, and he deputises in at hooker as well, and there was spells where he picked up a bit of dummy half work, but he did okay. The young lad Foster did okay, but they were way down on what they normally get from the players that are playing for the Tigers. So,
which you would expect as well, because their main distribution points and one of their main attacking threats were missing. So you would anticipate that the way that they were getting given the ball and the manner in which Cass would play would impact on what people on the field were able to generate, because the players they were missing were so key to their offense anyway. And yet they found a way to win the game, and they got the result. And regardless of what happened in terms of calls and sin binnings and things like that, Huddersfield should have probably been winning this game.
Look, it was a slightly harsh call on the sin binning, but I don't think it's worth getting bent out of shape about. Players were offside all the fucking time. It's not worth getting bent out of shape about, truly. When your own player goes and does what Danny Brough did, and that sort of thing. But I liked what Huddersfield have got going on at hooker now that they've decided to start playing O'Brien in rotation with Cruz Leeming. I thought Cruz Leeming was really good, and then O'Brien was really good, and then Cruz Leeming was really good, and I think that's got legs in it.
Well, the other thing but
they've got no halfbacks.
They've got no halfbacks, but the thing that hooker rotation does now is allows them to deploy Ryan Hinchcliffe in what I would argue is his more natural role. So that buys you some quality, and their forward pack does have some teeth now. So they just need to have some halfbacks that can stay on the pitch and deliver consistently enough in order to reap the rewards of that. What do you have? Do you have anything more to say, or what do the stats tell us?
Stats.
Yes.
So Huddersfield will be disappointed having lost this with 214 more metres at 0.6 metres per carry. Better gain, 2 more breaks, 4 fewer penalties conceded, and a 1.1% better team tackle success. Despite that, Castleford managed to win, with the only key stat win being errors, which they won 8-12.
There you go.
So Huddersfield should be kicking themselves because they were the better team.
And again, those stats that you pointed out, all to me point to in higher metres per carry, your forwards are getting are making some better metres. More breaks, your forwards are breaking the line. People are making the line more. Fewer penalties conceded. There's better discipline. And your tackling's up, which means predominantly your pack are working hard. So that's all there for Huddersfield. They do have some teeth. It's just now that they're not getting, and they were missing. They had Jerry away as well. So let's build that into the equation. But I still think that they would, that was a game that they would have targeted. Given
they've still got the back rowers out, and they like Simmons and Lawrence and people like that. They
possibly so.
Players.
But Fergie's a good player. He's more than able to
the losses were more significant apart from that second half-back position beside Brough is a question mark anyway.
It has been for a while, hasn't it? Fair enough. Well, individually then, who stood out for the depleted Castleford Tigers, Mark?
Greg Minikin with a try, 107 metres, 2 clean breaks. Jesse Senilafeo, who was probably the standout in many ways for them. 1 try, 148 metres, 4 successful offloads. Matt Cook, 112 metres. Joel Monaghan had a strong game with a try assist, 5 tackle busts. Greg Eden, a try and a try assist at fullback this week.
There you go. And for Huddersfield then?
Well, there is the man Mamo. 3 tries, 111 metres, 3 clean breaks. Ryan Hinchcliffe worked hard, 46 tackles. Dale Ferguson, 5 tackle busts, 133 metres. Seb Ikehefo is going great guns, 5 tackle busts, 119 metres, 3 successful offloads. And Alex Mellor, 105 metres.
There you go. So to Friday night then, Warrington Wolves overcame a 2-point half-time deficit to smash St Helens 40 points to 18 in front of 11,681, and Phil Bentham at the whistle.
Yeah, Frogmore said, the following is a list of positives I took out of this game.
Wire Joe got in touch and said it was a game that summed up our season so far. We dug ourselves out of a hole and were panicking, trying to solve problems individually rather than as a team. As soon as we got our tails up, it was a different story and we started playing for each other. We're still a million miles from where we should be with the squad we have, but if we cut out the errors and stop giving teams a head start, we might just make the top 8.
Lee Whitnell says...
Tyler Cass fan says.
Oh, God, fucking hell. I'm all over the show, aren't I? I told you I'm not having a good night.
Keep on track, mate. You're fine.
Tyler Cass fan said, Saints had this game in the bag at 14-0 up. If they'd scored the next try, the Wire crowd would have turned on their team and there would have been no way back. But Wire got a fold in the game and never looked back. Fine margins.
Lee Whitnell said, I'm not sure what happened there. We played as bad as I've ever seen us play, gave Saints a 14-point start and got their fans frothing with confidence and good cheer. Then we flicked a switch, found a performance and took their frothy cheer, wrapped it in McCarthy Scarsbrook's ponytail and stuck it up their arses. Very happy at the end, but fuck me, that first 20 minutes was agony. Good stuff, Lee. I love reading out Lee's.
St. David said, now then, lads, I'll keep this one brief. Fucking rubbish, gutless, leaderless, error-ridden try.
Paul O'Brien said, Saints had a great start to the game, but then seemed to take their foot off the gas. Wire came back strongly, and Saints just couldn't get going again. A big win for Wire.
And Paul Udo Lewis said, St. Helens were dealt a huge blow before kick-off with the news that Kevin Brown wouldn't be available for this one. I thought Deck Patton had a good game, although Sky seemed determined to give Kirk Gidley the credit. Maybe it's because he was in the year above Eddie at school. Game that may mean nothing at the end of the season, as neither of these teams will be in the middle eights, but neither will be in the top 4 either.
Yeah, possibly so, but strong comeback from Warrington to keep their peckers up after that strong start from St Helens. St Helens were off to a fly, weren't they? Adamson was straight in there immediately.
It was 14-0 and you felt like Warrington were never going to get going.
Yeah, never at all. But I think they benefited, they got their dander up and they did dig themselves out of the hole with some strong work. A couple of tries coming from drop balls and errors from St Helens, which they capitalised on, which are absolute, not only coach killers, but I think they're confidence killers as well, like the one that Harvey Levesque got through for, and who's the other one? Ryan Atkins, did he pick up an error?
It was
Tom Lynham.
I switched off, to be honest, mentally for the last 10 minutes of this game. But it was a complete... Because they, as well as not performing well, they weren't getting any luck with the early doors. They had a couple of close calls, but they just weren't good enough to get them over the line. And defensively, they were not stopping a Saints side that aren't exactly electric at the moment. And it's so weird because usually the opposite happens, but it seems to have swung around when James Roby's come on the field, which is
odd.
Yeah, I mean he's still putting a shift, but after that, it's gone downhill, and you never see that from St Helens. But Warrington, the first try seemed a little bit like. It was Warrington. It was the Julienne one, wasn't it? And it didn't seem like they were gonna score, and then they did, sort of thing. Like I can't put my finger on, in my mind, in my memory, what the turning point was, like to get that and to get that to come. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, it's just like they decided. It was almost as if after 20 minutes, something amongst them decided to start playing, and it could be some intangible thing, but. There were a couple of killer errors in Saints as well that will have boosted Warrington's confidence too. Yes, well, Saints had to. And getting back to within 2 by half time. Look, Saints were 14-0 up, but Warrington got the next 12 points. So going in at half time, maybe the momentum was already with Warrington. It totally was. And Saints will have been looking at themselves because it was mistakes that let. Like I said, I can't think of what turned it around for Warrington in terms of how did they get better. Yeah. But it was just that Saints stopped being good. Yeah. Almost as soon as they made a crucial error, they went. They died. I agree. And then Warrington were just all over him after that. Yeah, and fair play to them because putting 40 points on anybody in Super League is an achievement as well. And points were coming from all over the place. I really like Harvey Levesque as a player, and especially good to see young lads like him and Deck Patton getting a shout in that team. I think Harvey Levesque isn't accustomed to the position he's being picked in. No, that's true. And I think he makes a lot of mistakes and a lot of poor calls, but he's got you can see his potential. But he's got enough talent to get around that and fix things up, and his instincts are right as well. Yeah. Deck Patton I really like. I think he can run a game as well. I think he has that decision making side of it. Mm-hmm. So I suppose that's maybe why as a pair it works quite well.
Yes, it does. So what, if anything, did the stats tell us on this one then?
It was like Huddersfield. That errors was the only key stat. Warrington lost on 15-14 on that, so high error count from both sides. 2% better team tackle success was a defensive efficiency win for the Wolves, and a big 1.6 metres per carry was an attacking efficiency win. Add to that more metres, an 8-3 win in clean break, despite having fewer carries than the Saints in the game. Basically, when Warrington started doing stuff well, they did it a lot better than Saints were able to do it for the rest of the game, and that's what those stats back up.
So who stood out for us for the Warrington Wolves then?
Harvey Levett with a try assist, 158 metres, 3 successful offloads. Tom Lynham with a try, 145 metres, 2 clean breaks. Rhys Evans with a try, 115 metres, 2 clean breaks. Matty Russell, 148 metres, 3 successful offloads. Ryan Atkins, 2 try assists.
Yes, he got a try.
2 tries, sorry.
Yes, he got a try or 2 as well, didn't he?
It was 2 tries, not 2 tries.
Oh, perfect, thank you.
I don't know, I'll take whatever off him. They were late anyway, the game was done.
Yeah, St Helens then, who looked good for St Helens?
James Roby, 42 tackles, 114 metres. Luke Thompson, 119 metres. Zeb Tyre, a try assist, 128 metres, 4 successful offloads. And Regan Grace, 111 metres. But not a lot of star performers, obviously, when you run dry after 26 minutes.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so at the same time, Wigan were being defeated 16 points to 31 by the Salford Red Devils in front of 11,861, plus Chris Campbell in attendance with the whistle.
Yeah, Owen Hughes says, wow, what can I say? Yes, Wigan had players out, but we had quite a few out too. A lot of our second choice players did themselves proud tonight, helping to produce a real competition for places once others are fit. First away win at Wigan in 20 years. Wow, chuffed. Wish I could have been there. Maybe we will actually make the top 8 this season. Probably going to regret saying that.
Willow Mark 68, Mark Willow got in touch and said, men against boys literally in the first half, but what a change in the second half with a raise in tempo and confidence and a little bit of luck. If Wigan stay knocking on the door and get experience back, then I still fancy us to get to the grand final.
Brian Davies said, listen to the first half on Wish FM, who are Bateman in the box. The commentator said Salford were no better than Wigan, they just took their chances. That's because what's his name? His name escapes me now.
I don't know, I don't really listen to
the guy who does it on Wish FM, the Wigan games. God, he is, I mean, gleefully biased, not in a negative way, sort of.
Very, very pro-Wigan.
But yeah, but he's, he's
Wish FM, isn't it? He's not, you build that in, that's a margin of error.
He can be entertaining. Bateman gave a typical player's perspective. Injuries not an issue. The players on the field should be doing better. They're good enough, but they needed to apply themselves better. Score suggests they did do better in the second half.
Yes, it certainly did. David Lawrenson, he's at David Lorrow on Twitter. Give him a follow. Happy with the performance despite the injuries, blah, blah, blah. But why do we have so many injuries so often?
Well, we talked about that a little bit earlier, didn't we? We don't really have the answer, unfortunately. Dan Hull, having missed last week's game, it was good to get down to the DW to watch Salford get a rare win against Wigan. Thought the game was similar to the match at the AJ Bell earlier in the year, but a reversal of the result. Salford won the game in the first half and the first 5 minutes of the second being clinical when we got chances. Wigan came back after that, thought we might throw it away until O'Brien did it again.
Yeah, he keeps cropping up, doesn't he?
Well, yeah, he wasn't even meant to be.
I presume you were there.
He wasn't even meant to be playing, but him and Kopchak managed to find their way into the 17 when they weren't fit enough to be in the 19-man squad. So they were on the bench, and O'Brien had a little bit of a cameo and kicked himself a drop goal like he likes to. Salford,
Salford are the better team.
Salford were way the better team for 45 minutes. Sorry, for 45, 50 minutes.
Yeah.
If Wigan had turned up at the start of the second half like they did after, whose was its try? Was it Niall Evalds? Greg Johnson's try.
Okay.
Then it would have been a different story, I think, because we really did push him in the back half of that game.
How do the youngsters look for you lot? I'm thinking of guys like Davies and Young Ganson.
Well, Davies, we know he's got the goods, but he's doing a lot of running out of his own end and not a lot of opportunities. But he did grab himself a nice try of a neat finish in this one.
Okay.
Liam Forsyth continues to do okay. Marshall's having a little bit of a lean spell, probably not helped by his centre not being a centre, and that sort of stuff. Josh Wood made his debut.
Wow.
Okay, Josh Gonson had to go 80 minutes because the guy who would have spelled him, Nick Gregson, had to come on in the half for Sam Powell, who went off with a knee injury.
Right.
Nick Gregson then got a smack round his chops and had a jaw injury, so had to go off. Wow. So we ended up playing with Joel Tompkins as the scrum half.
Excellent. Dynamic. Back to his dynamic best, Joel Tompkins, I would have thought.
But
Not a week to be missing Sean O'Loughlin, is it?
But we didn't pick up. We didn't pick it up early enough. Really, the forwards were rubbish in the first half, but that was all complemented by Salford being far better. They were way better organised. They ran the game well, which you'd expect from an experienced and entrenched half-back pairing that they were able to operate with. And they were better than Wigan in the first half. It wasn't just that they took their chances.